All right, so once everything's done and you have a cover, everything's formatted, and you hit publish, you probably wanted to plan a little bit of a book launch. Um, it can be as much or as little as you want to plan. But you did all this work and you wrote this book, and so obviously you want to sell it. So you need to market that book to your audience. So there's a couple of things that you can do to get the word out there. Most professionals will say, you should start marketing a book launch, 6 months before the book is due to come out. Couple of ways that you can do this to get the word out there. Number one, you can use an author website. I think it's really important for you to have a website. A lot of authors will question whether or not it is necessary or not. I think it definitely gives you an online footprint as long as you use search engine optimization so that you can be found on the internet. You definitely want a presence there and someplace where a reader can land, find information about you, find information about your books. I always do a blog. Updating the website regularly helps you be found by the search engines. So, it's kind of a labor of love in the fact that you have to continuously produce content, which is time consuming. So if you're writing blog posts, you're not writing a book. So again, this is kind of one of the trade-offs for traditional publishing versus self-publishing. You have to make yourself relevant. It's your job to create a platform, to create a brand, to push what you have to offer out there in the online space or in the physical space. We'll probably talk about that more in the next video. You want to make sure that you keep your Amazon author page up to date. They will update the books, but you need to go out and you need to put a bio. And I think you can also create a blog feed there too. So you can feed in your website blog that will update with your Amazon author page so they can go out there and find more information on your website that maybe isn't available on the Amazon author page. Goodreads account. This is one I'm not good at. I've tried to do Goodreads a few different times and I've gotten very discouraged with it. It is on my list of things to go back and do. A lot of authors will say, oh, it's a must. And that's mainly because you have a captive audience of readers there. I just haven't figured it out how to make that platform work for me. So it's one of the things on my list. It's just another tool that I have to learn how to use. And it's not just a one and done. You go out there and fiddle around with it and you're done and don't touch it for another year. If I'm going to start learning Goodreads, that means that, I need to be out there on a daily or weekly basis, checking and doing things and, being active on that platform. So it's on the list of things to do. Haven't done it yet. I'm pulled in a million different directions because, I also talk about a Facebook page. You need to have an author Facebook page. You can do things to promote your books on there, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, TikTok. I'm on about all of those and constantly creating content that is specific to each individual platform because what you post on TikTok is not the same that goes on Instagram. Twitter is different from Facebook. You just can't create boilerplate content and have it just generic across the board. It needs to be tailored. Some of it you can piece out. I'm sure this will be a video in the future on how to create, obviously I take a longer blog post and cut it down into, multiple videos or multiple posts to get that content out there, drive people to the website, drive people to the Facebook page. It does work. I will say that it's not an immediate gratification. Most people will tell you that you need to regularly post content daily, multiple pieces of content daily for an entire year for you to actually see any kind of results. I have been getting results on mine. increased followers, increased impressions. And, I'm a rising creator on Facebook. I'm able to monetize videos now. But it has been a long road to get there. And I really started focusing on it this year in 2023. So I am still learning. This is something that it's necessary. You're just going to have to do it if you're going to be an independent author. And honestly, if you're going to be a traditional author with a traditional publisher, you're going to have to do this anyway. I just read a tweet by a traditionally published author that she was very disappointed because her publisher was pushing her to post videos on TikTok. So she had to go out and post her first video on TikTok, and she hated doing it and she didn't want to do it, but they're making you do that. So no matter which road that you choose, you're going to be doing social media no matter if you like it or not. So that's just an inevitability. So ways to promote your books on these different platforms, you can tease with book cover reveals. You can do that. You're going to create the book maybe before, or the book cover before the book actually comes out. So you can tease the cover and do a reveal. You can add synopsises to the author website or post the first chapter, the first 3 chapters out there. You could create bonus content. Little extras, like maybe a little short story about a tertiary character, maybe their background. You can share beta reader quotes. Sometimes I like to do fan castings of my characters and kind of post information about their personalities, hoping that, a character will snag a reader and say, ooh, I like this character. This sounds interesting. You can send press releases to local media. I have had newspaper articles. I've had a couple different newspaper articles published. So that gives you additional exposure. And that stuff also goes online. So it's searchable content online as well that will link back to your website or Facebook page or whatever you have set up. Creating book trailers. I've done a couple of these myself. They're really hard to do, especially if you're not savvy with videos. I'm getting better with it. I'd like to do better with it. I have a couple of ideas. I'm just not sure how to execute. Again, you can pay people to do a book trailer for you, but then that's money out of your pocket and don't always have that. So sometimes you just have to make do with the resources that you have available, which is your own gumption most of the time. Social media blasts, you can definitely blast it out there. A lot of places will want you to do promos. I've tried a couple promos like on Twitter or Facebook where they'll say, oh, well, we have a bunch of readers and we'll blast your stuff on our pages. I've gotten 0 sales from any of those. So I don't know. Maybe it just depends on what kind of book that you have. But I've not had any luck with those. So I kind of quit those. You can do Facebook ads. I get some results on that. Again, that's a learning curve. I mean, people go to school to learn how to create Facebook ads, and they get degrees in marketing to learn how to use keywords and SEO to get the, get the sales on Facebook. I'm just trying to do the best I can, but you're going to have to just jump out there and try things and see what works. Some things will work, some things won't. If you do an in-person launch, you'll want to have some promotional items. You definitely want to have business cards. I use Vistaprint for my business cards. They seem to be the best price. I do have a digital business card, which is really nice. So you can just digitally transfer it to somebody's phone and your information is automatically on there. I don't necessarily like the business card where they can just take it home and throw it away. Everything's on the phone, so you need to be on the phone. That's why I like the digital business card. I just think the consumer hasn't really caught up to that. I think that's probably what will be in the future, but for right now, it's kind of hard to get that up and going. You can do things like bookmarks. You can do a postcard with some cool art and a synopsis for the story or the book blurb for the story for somebody to take home. I've done brochures that have a list of all of my different books on there, all the different series. You can do pins. any kind of branding. I wouldn't go too overboard. A lot of times, even I even don't, like I said, I don't even like doing business cards because sometimes I feel like it's a waste of money because 9 times out of 10 people are just going to throw it away. So those are some things to consider whenever you're getting ready to launch and marketing your book. But those things become quite time consuming, and every minute that you're spent marketing and creating content, you're not spending writing the next book. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. But as I said, you're going to end up doing it anyway, whether you go self-publishing or traditional publishing. Either way, it's going to happen. So you might as well figure out how to fit it in your schedule and make it work.